Okay, so this is a review on the Pebble V3 by Creative. Now these are relatively cheap and relatively small desktop speakers, as you can see right there. I have it already set up and I've been using the speakers for about almost 2 months now. And you can see it's pretty much slightly bigger than a fist, right? The V3 is nice because it has Bluetooth and it also uses USB audio. It still supports aux, but I don't recommend it. I'll explain why later. And they also don't include an aux cable. So if you want to use aux, you'll have to get your own aux cable. The USB audio is Type-C connector, but it's not a big deal because they also include a Type-C to Type-A converter. So that's very nice. Okay. So, are these speakers any good? I think they're relatively good for the price. There are some issues that I'm going to discuss later, but let's start off with some sound samples, I guess. It's not going to be accurate because you're listening it through a camera, but I'm going to just pull up the volume on my music here. Okay. So here's my volume knob. On my computer, everything is set to 100% volume. Okay, and on the speakers, the volume knob currently is about 40-45%. And this is normally the volume that I listen to, so it's pretty clear, it's pretty nice. And these speakers can get very loud, so let me turn this up. Okay, so as you can hear, the volume was quite loud at max, and there was some distortion at the max volume, so it's between the loudness and the distortion. I do not recommend using this at higher volumes. I would say the best sounding volume is around 40 to maybe 70%. That's the range that I feel the sound quality is the best. After 70%, you start slowly hearing hissing. So an issue I found with these speakers is that they hiss. So in Bluetooth mode and USB audio mode, they hiss once your speaker is past about 60 or 70% volume. They start hissing. It's not a very loud hiss, but it's something that is noticeable. Okay, so right now, music is playing, very low volume, you basically can't hear the music, about 40% or so. And the speakers are basically outputting no sound at all, and it's completely silent. But if I turn it up slightly, so around 60 something, between 60 and 70% volume, you start hearing a slight hiss from the speakers. Now obviously my background noise is a lot louder than that hissing, so you probably can't hear it. Or my camera can't pick it up, I'm not sure. But for me, I do hear a hissing on the speakers themselves. And it's not because I'm playing music at very low volumes. If I press pause, I still hear the hissing. And then so about 5 seconds or so, the hissing stops. So basically, when the speaker detects that it has no audio going to it, it'll turn off, right? And then it'll be absolutely silent. And for USB audio and Bluetooth audio, this hissing problem becomes an issue once you have your volume knob above about 65 or 70%. But on the aux side, it's a lot more terrible. So let me disconnect the USB audio and connect the aux. So one nice thing is that they auto change. So once I disconnect it and connect the aux, you see that it switched over to cyan color. So it detected that it's now on aux audio. But I'm not sure if you heard that. So when I switched over, the hissing on the aux was noticeably louder. And this issue on the aux, if it happens like after 60% or whatever, that's fine because I normally don't play it at 60%. But on aux, this hissing issue appears after 40%. So right now you can see maybe it's around 40-45%. And you can hear that hissing. So basically on these speakers, the aux audio is completely unusable because of the hissing. It appears after 40% and below 40%. So right now it's below 40% and you can't really hear that hissing, but let me bring up the volume. Right now my volume is at 100% on my computer and I'm under 40% on the speakers themselves. And it's okay, you can hear it, but it's not an enjoyable volume, right? It's a bit quiet. So for me, a more comfortable volume is here. But at this volume, you start hearing that hissing. So aux audio on the Creative Pebble V3 is completely unusable for me. Okay, so just to be clear, I don't hate the product itself, right? The hissing issue, it might be isolated to my product. Maybe I have a defective one. I don't know because I don't have another V3 I can compare it to. So, I'm just sharing my experience. If I put that aside and look at the price point, it's $40. It has 3 types of input. It's super versatile. And then I go on to Amazon, right? Amazon, yes, there are very cheap speakers. Amazon Basics is only $18, less than half the price. But then these basic speakers are really basic. They only have audio 3.5mm headphone input, right? If you want to play music on your tablet, on your phone, and you want to play it across the room, you can't do that because you have to plug in the cable and you have to be tethered to the speaker. So it really depends on how you use your speaker and what you need it for. But for most people, I would imagine that you just plug in your speaker into one device and it's kind of exclusive to that device. You plug in your speakers to your PC and that's it. You're not going to be plugging those speakers into something else like every other day. You're not going to be switching devices on your speakers. So in that case, this is not a good deal because at $40, you go back to the previous page, you can see that these Logitech multimedia speakers with a subwoofer is $39. You can get this instead. With a subwoofer, it's almost guaranteed to have better audio quality, right? So yeah, it's not for everyone. You also have to consider that Creative also makes the V2. So the V2 is like what, $15 cheaper. Okay, it's on promo right now, so it's usually $10 cheaper. The V2 and the V3 is not that different. The difference is basically Bluetooth. And okay, the V3 has slightly bigger drivers, so it's slightly louder on the V3, but I don't think it makes that much difference, right? For the V2, it comes with aux, it comes with USB audio. I think this is a good deal, right? If you don't need Bluetooth, V2 is probably a better speaker. It's probably a better valued product. But then again, I don't know if the V2 has the hissing issue, because if the V2 has hissing issues, maybe one of these cheaper speakers is a better deal. So is the Pebble V3 a good product? It is a good product, but it has a hissing issue. I don't know if that hissing issue is universal. So my recommendation is, if you need Bluetooth. If you don't need Bluetooth, you don't even need to consider the V3 because there are tons of other options. If you need Bluetooth, right, and you're considering a V3, I would recommend you go into a shop, plug in your device, and just listen to it and try to listen to it and see if you hear the hissing issue. If you don't, great. Maybe the issue is isolated to my case, in which case the Pebble V3 is a good product and I do recommend it.